Welcome to Wellington. We are going to be checking out some of the must-see sites in Wellington, and I might mention a few little hidden gems that we found on our 2 trips to Wellington. We took our kids in 2015 where it was, I must admit, a Lord of the Rings fest. We did manage to do some non-Lord of the Rings things. The second trip was in 2018 where we dropped in for a few hours as part of a cruise that we did from Australia, which was an amazing trip, and I would do it again in a heartbeat if I could get back on a cruise ship. Let's explore. Wellington, New Zealand. Have you been? Are you planning on going? Wellington is the capital city of New Zealand and it is in the southern end of the North Island. It's also the link between the North and South Island. So you can catch a ferry on either the Inter-Islander or Blue Bridge ferry brands from Wellington over to Picton and then continue your trip down the South Island, or vice versa if you're coming in the opposite direction. Wellington is known as the windiest city in the world and it has a maritime climate. So in summer you are looking at tops around 25 degrees and in winter you're looking at lows averaging about 4 degrees. Apart from being windy, the weather is quite pleasant most of the year round. And when is the best time to visit? Most people say between March and May, which is their autumn, where you've got the most optimum pleasant weather, and then you've also got less tourists around so that you can enjoy and make the most of not just the attractions that we're going to talk about today, but also make the most of just enjoying this beautiful city and all that it offers. As far as currency goes, Wellington, as well as the rest of New Zealand, use New Zealand dollars. I particularly use an app or the website XE to do my currency conversion, so I've got a rough idea of how much money I've got to spend. If you know of a better currency conversion app, let us know in the comments below. Transport is really easy in Wellington. We've got one that I'm going to go into detail with. Of course you can drive, but if you don't feel like driving, there are buses, ferries and trains that will not only get you around the city. If you do your research, you can also get outside of the city or join a tour, which, as we know, you can get to some beautiful destinations with an easy day trip. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan like our family, there is so much to do that is connected to the movie Lord of the Rings. We actually took a movie in at the Embassy Theatre in Wellington, which is where the world premiere of Lord of the Rings happened way back in the 90s. We did a day tour, the Lord of the Rings film location site. There's lots of locations in Wellington, including Mount Victoria. It was actually filming at Mount Victoria that alerted the world to the fact that Peter Jackson was doing Lord of the Rings, because one day when they were using smoke machines, nobody knew, and so all of a sudden all the locals started calling the fire department to put out the fire up at Mount Victoria, when it was actually just Peter Jackson and his crew playing with smoke machines to get the mist for whatever scene they were shooting on that day. If you're not a Lord of the Rings fan, Mount Victoria will give you some amazing views of the city. Speaking of Lord of the Rings though, if you are a fan, one thing you can do as part of a tour or do it separately is you could look at visiting Weta and the Weta shop and the Weta caves, where they did a lot of those amazing costumes for Lord of the Rings and even lots of other things, and they're still quite busy today. Wellington has quite a buzzing film industry that was accelerated by Peter Jackson's creativity in Lord of the Rings, catapulting Wellington as a filmmaking mecca. Food scene is amazing. I've got to tell you, we've had one of the best coffees outside of Australia at a little cafe near the hotel that we stayed at in 2015. Actually, all of the coffee in Wellington was really good. Yuba Street is an amazing place to wander. Heaps of food choices along there. Now, my favourite museum in Wellington is the Te Papa Museum, which is down on the waterfront. It's in a beautiful building, beautiful outside area that is well worth just wandering around on its own. It's open from 10 till 6 every day except Christmas Day, and it's free to enter for most places. They might have some sort of exhibit that will cost you extra, but there is so much to see in the free parts of this museum. We've been twice. Both times we've been to Wellington, we've carved out out some time to enjoy this place. Absolutely amazing. It looks at Maori culture, it looks at everything else, and it also has, pretty sure, the biggest squid. Heaps of different things to see in there. Will keep you entertained for hours. Outside the Te Papa Museum is a whole beautiful area to explore, and then you can walk along the foreshore to the wharf area where there are more restaurant and bars and stuff. Along this walk you've got great views of a bit of the harbour, and last time we were there, along the building or the city side of this walk were a whole lot of information board that just let you know about the evolution of the area and a whole lot of other useful information. Allow some time to take it slow so you can take in some of those information boards. If you're getting value out of today, why not help us out and hit that like button? In my intro, I alluded to the fact that Wellington has a cable car. Now I want to talk to you about this cute little cable car that has been running from Lambton Quays up to Kilbourne. It operates every day of the week between 7:30 to 8. Check the days of operation on the link below or at either of the stations when you go and are wandering around Wellington. Just as far as operation goes and opening, for anyone heading to Wellington between the 26th and the 31st of July, just be warned that the cable car will be closed for maintenance over that week, but you can still get up to Kilbourne by walking or some other mode of transport. Let's talk about the cable car. So it is $5 for a one-way ticket or $9 for a return for an adult. So check out the link below and it will help you plan and make the most out of using this cable car to your advantage. We've boarded the cable car, we've done the 5-minute ride up to Kilbourne. What can we see up there? There is an amazing amount to see. Once you get up there, just near the Kilbourne station, you have the Cable Car Museum, which is free to enter. But the museum goes into the history in more detail, dating back even before 1902, when you look at the construction of the place as well. But up there as well is a little a restaurant and cafe with a few little shops. One of those shops is the Victorian Perfumery. This was such a fascinating little shop to walk into. They actually make perfume on the premises, and they've got a whole lot of little testing smelly vial things, like not vial as in horrible but as in vials. With the help of the perfume maker, you can make up different scents that you can buy. It's just a really lovely environment within the shop, well worth the visit. You've also got the Botanic Gardens, which is free to wander around and just take in the beauty. And as you wander around, you can walk up to Space Palace, where there is a museum information type centre. We got there when it was closed, so we didn't go into the centre, much to the kids' disappointment. There is a sundial and a few other things directly outside, and a short, very short walk away is the Carter Observatory, which has a whole lot of old outbuildings, different sorts of observatories, and then you've got those amazing views out over the city. If you're getting value out of today, why not hit that like button? That helps YouTube to know that we're making content worth sharing and helps get the word out about our channel existing. What is Zealandia, I hear you ask? Well, it is 32 kilometres of walking trails through beautiful forested ecosystem. You can see 150 Kiwis wandering freely. Prices start at $22 per adult for the general admission ticket, and that is valid for 2 consecutive days. So just outside of the Cable Car Museum up at Kilbourne, you will see some little dinosaur footprints that will take you to the free shuttle, which will get you to Zealandia from up there. The last place I want to mention is Old St Paul's Church. This church is a beautiful church. It is one of the largest wooden cathedrals in the world. It was built between 1865 and 1866. It is just stunning. It's not far from Lambton Quays and the government buildings and the library. Old St Paul's is open between 10 and 4 each day. Entry by donation for small groups under 10. There are information pamphlets to help you understand more about this unique building. One more thing that you do need to note is that Old St Paul's Church may be closed for short periods due to special events. Just keep that in mind, that could interfere with your sightseeing plans of the church. I wouldn't let it deter you. It is definitely still worth going to see. Have you been to Wellington before? Now, I know I've just mentioned a few things that you could do. Do you have a favourite restaurant? Have you been somewhere that I haven't mentioned that's worth mentioning in more detail? Let us know in the comments below. You may just inspire someone to have the adventure of a lifetime. If you liked what you saw today, why not hit the like and subscribe button, ring that little bell so you'll be notified of our upcoming videos. As always, thanks for joining us. Travel brilliantly. Bye! If you got value out of today but want to understand the Trans-Tasman travel bubble a little bit more, then why not click on the video above or find us on social. Until next time.